Tonight, our special transmission as reports show Hezbollah leader and Israeli Prime Minister agreed to a ceasefire before Nasrallah's assassination. Assalamu alaikum and good evening. This is Muslim News Canada on Muslim Network TV. I'm Zahra Sayed. Today is the 363rd day since the onset of Israel's war on Gaza. The Israeli army has killed 15 Palestinians today in multiple airstrikes across the Gaza Strip. The head of the United Agency for Palestinian Refugees reports that 21 Palestinians have been killed in the past 2 days. The casualties come as Israeli forces attacked 3 UN-run school shelters in the Gaza Strip. 3 Palestinians have been killed in 2 separate airstrikes on the Nusayrat refugee camp. A civilian has succumbed to injuries sustained from a previous airstrike in Rafah. In the northern Gaza Strip, 1 person has been killed and 4 others injured by Israeli firing. Israeli strikes have targeted a Palestinian fisherman on the Gaza coast. Several others have been injured. Israel has been conducting its military offensive on Gaza since Hamas launched an attack on October of last year. More than 41,800 Palestinians have been killed in the conflict. The ongoing bombardment has left much of Gaza's population homeless. Large portions of the enclave have turned into ruins. There is a humanitarian crisis with civilians facing the risk of famine. Israel faces accusations of genocide at the International Court of Justice for its actions in Gaza. Israeli forces have abducted more than 15 Palestinians during multiple raids across the occupied West Bank. The abductees include 2 brothers and former political prisoners. The Commission of Detainees and Ex-Detainees Affairs and the Prisoners Society says the abductions took place in various governorates, including Ramallah, Hebron, Jenin, Nablus, and Tubas. Israeli soldiers reportedly stormed homes, assaulted residents, and threatened to harm both the abductees and their families. In El Khader, south of Bethlehem, Israeli forces fired tear gas canisters, causing numerous Palestinians to suffer from tear gas inhalation. Students were also targeted by Israeli soldiers in the area as they were leaving school. Soldiers chased students through neighborhoods and on the main road. Students in the El Khader frequently face harassment from Israeli forces due to the proximity of their schools to the annexation wall. 4 Palestinians were injured yesterday at the military checkpoints near Jericho. In a separate incident, the Israeli army carried out an airstrike on a popular cafe in the Tulkarm refugee camp. The strikes killed 18 Palestinians and injured more than 20, including children and the elderly. Israeli soldiers have shot and killed a Palestinian man in Hebron after an alleged stabbing attempt at a military checkpoint. An Israeli attack has killed 4 paramedics near a government hospital in Marjayun. It is a predominantly Christian town in southern Lebanon that has been largely untouched in previous conflicts. At the same time, Israel has launched its heaviest airstrikes on Beirut. In the past 24 hours, dozens have been reported dead. In Tehran, Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has addressed a large crowd. Khamenei is calling for unity in the Muslim world against its enemies. The Israeli military has confirmed that some of its air bases were hit during an Iranian missile attack on Tuesday night. The military describes the damage as minimal. Officials say no critical infrastructure or military assets have been harmed. The military has dismissed Iran's claims of using hypersonic missiles in the attack. They say Iranian forces do not possess such advanced technology. Tuesday evening saw an unprecedented barrage of 181 ballistic missiles fired by Iran. The attack came in retaliation for the assassination of Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh and Hezbollah Secretary General Hassan Nasrallah. The Israeli army says air defense systems have been successful in mitigating significant damage and preventing casualties. Lebanese Foreign Minister Abdullah Abu Habib says Hezbollah leader and Israeli Prime Minister had reached a temporary truce agreement before Nasrallah's killing. In an interview with CNN, Abu Habib says the truce had the backing of both the United States and France. He says U.S. officials said Netanyahu had agreed, and then Hezbollah's consent was secured. Prior to Nasrallah's death, U.S. and French officials had been preparing a statement urging for a 21-day truce between Hezbollah and Israel. The announcement came after a series of Israeli airstrikes across Lebanon. The following day, Netanyahu publicly rejected the proposal. In a separate report by Reuters, Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei had allegedly sent a warning to Nasrallah about Israel's plans to kill him. The warning came via senior Iranian commander Abbas Nilfarushan, who was also killed in the same Israeli strike. Abu Habib's statements have raised questions about Israel's willingness to pursue peace. Before Nasrallah's killing, Israel had assassinated Hamas political leader Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran. Haniyeh was involved in negotiations for a ceasefire. Since Nasrallah's assassination, Israeli forces have launched a military invasion of Lebanon. The campaign has faced significant setbacks. Hezbollah fighters say they have killed several Israeli soldiers and destroyed numerous tanks. The Biden administration initially pushed for a ceasefire. However, it has continued to support Israel's actions, including the killing of Nasrallah and the subsequent invasion of Lebanon. Iraqi forces aligned with Iran have made a strategic decision to stay out of Israel's escalating conflicts with Hezbollah and Iran. The decision comes out of concern that further involvement could destabilize Iraq and undermine its own position. Iraqi officials and leaders of Iranian-backed armed groups say instead they would focus on providing humanitarian aid and financial support to those impacted in Lebanon. Commanders say there would be no attacks on U.S. military bases unless there is direct involvement by Washington in supporting Israeli strikes on Iran. Over the past year, Israeli military actions, particularly in Gaza, have triggered responses from Hezbollah in Lebanon, Yemen's Houthis, and Iraqi paramilitary groups. Israel now escalates its war in Lebanon, and tensions remain high. Iraqi officials, however, are wary of any further involvement. They fear it could lead to the collapse of Iraq's political and military systems. Since Tuesday evening, all Iraqi military forces have been on high alert. Armed factions have taken precautionary measures, including reducing personnel at their headquarters to avoid casualties. The leadership has issued strict orders to keep their fighters out of the regional conflict and avoid using government resources in any potential engagements. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas has met with Abdul Salam and Humam Haniyeh in Qatar earlier this week. Abdul Salam and Humam Haniyeh are the sons of the late Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh. Media reports show Abbas extended his condolences to Haniyeh's sons. He praised the leader's contributions to the Palestinian national struggle. Abbas said the Palestinian people will achieve their full legitimate rights to freedom and independence, despite the ongoing crimes and attacks by Israel. Later, Abdul Salam Haniyeh shared a photo of the meeting on Facebook. He expressed his gratitude. Ismail Haniyeh, the head of Hamas's political bureau, was assassinated in a bombing during his stay at a guest house in Tehran. Haniyeh was attending the inauguration of Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian. Iran has accused Israel of being responsible for the assassination. 2 Canadian men have been charged with hate crimes after allegedly waving Hezbollah flags at a pro-Palestinian protest in Toronto last week. Hezbollah is a listed terrorist organization by the Canadian government. Officers reportedly asked the men to stop waving the flags, citing concerns about disturbing public peace. However, the men ignored the warnings. Police, worried about the size of the crowd, chose to disengage at the time. Following an investigation, police arrested the 2 men on Wednesday. They have been charged with public incitement of hatred. They are scheduled to appear in court on November 14th. That's all from our Toronto studios. Thank you for watching Muslim News Canada. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. You can donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum.